And it's not something, like I said, that you normally gravitate to. Most normal people usually think, well, if I'm having all these problems, the problem must be me. You don't normally project everything onto somebody else. But I want you to critically look at exactly what's going on, because as much as we say, oh, do you care about other people? You have to care about yourself first. And actually look critically and observe what it is that how people look at you. We tend to have this idea in our head, people that are actually good tend to actually have low self-esteem, because we have been taught to equate how people treat us as a reflection of our self-worth. It's a very kind of low emotional intelligence way that we have just imbibed in society, and we think it's normal that if someone doesn't like you, then that must mean something is wrong with you. And then what we have now with social media is you have a whole group of people who don't like you. And so I'm going to relate a few stories of my own of ghosting, and I'll show you exactly what it is that I mean. So I'll go back many years to one man that I knew from DC. Met online, but we interacted many times in person, and we talked a lot. This is when I actually had patience to sit and talk to people, and now I never open myself up to people. If it's not business, I probably don't want to hear about it. But he always went, oh, let me just have, if you ever listen to Shira 7 or any content similar to that, then you know how she always says, well, men want a reason to be needed by you. And even if you go over to the manosphere, where I don't recommend you go, but if you happen to listen to any of that content, they'll say, they'll turn into a negative statement, which everything out of their mouths is negative. But they'll say things like, well, women today don't need men. They don't give them a place to help them. They're too independent. When you say modern woman, that's supposed to be a euphemism for being just too independent. And they give those memes about the women who walk around and say, I don't need no man. And they talk about how horrible it is. And they show a woman who is unsuccessful or falling down or tripping and has kind of failed. And they'll make fun of her and say, see, this is because you didn't have this man that apparently didn't want you in the first place, or whatever. So I've always been, it's not that I strive for independence, I've been always self-sufficient, and I don't believe one monkey don't stop no show. I have two hands and a mind, and if I really need something and no one around me is willing to give it to me or do it for me, of course I can figure out how to do it myself. So finally I broke down after he'd come, we talked, we shared, I knew his daughter, he always wanted to help me, always wanted to let me in, that's what he would say to me. So finally I broke down on the phone. I'm always trying to be strong, I'm always trying to do this, and this is not working, and blah. And he's Muslim, and maybe he's not 6 foot tall. He was actually probably 5'0", to be honest. He was a little leprechaun walking around, but looks aren't everything. This is what's going on in my mind at the time. So he asked me if I could just help you. I'd do anything to help you. I said, okay. Because help doesn't always have to be financial. I really value emotional and just being there as a friend. But I said, oh, we're talking fiduciary, fine. So it was a substitute teaching program or something I needed to get some more work, where this is down in Atlanta, something like that. And it's a permanent, I'm seeing, when I think about it, I can't quite remember the number, but when I'm seeing it, it's 40 something. So I'm pretty sure it was about 40 something, nothing major. And I said, okay, can you just help me with the substitute thing? It's 40, we'll say $47. How about that? If you could send it to me. And so that I can go ahead and get some more work, and I will need people sending me $40. I can have to be in that situation if I can help myself. So the text, I think we probably exchanged whatever it was we were doing at the time, Cash App or whatever it was. And I got the text back, you can go ahead and kick rocks. And when I tried to call to see, kick rocks with shoes on, I think he said. And that was probably the first time, I think I'd heard that expression, but that was probably the first time anybody had ever said that to me. And so it was like real visual. It wasn't just something I bandied around all the time to be funny. It was a real visual of me, of how painful it would be. It said, kick rocks with sandals on. How painful that would be for your toes, right? So he really wanted to inflict physical and emotional pain on me. And then when I called him up to say, well, what's up? Why are you acting like this? Everything blocked. So that was an example of somebody who's a piece of shit. And as much as I've tried to say, well, oh, I shouldn't have asked for money, and men don't like to be used, and he's just worried about, it's $40 fucking for a friend that you've known for years, that you volunteered. I'm not coming after him every day. Please give me money. I need $40. I need my nails done. No. So that makes that person a piece of shit.